Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, and Demeter stood at the peak of Mount Olympus. Here, nestled amongst the clouds, lay the celestial observatory. Built by Hephaestus ages ago, it was a monument to their hubris, a way to understand the cosmos they ruled. Zeus, his face etched with worry, pushed open the heavy bronze door. The air inside was stale, heavy with disuse. Dust coated the intricate celestial maps etched onto the walls. They walked in silence, each step echoing in the vast chamber. Then, they saw it. The great lens, once a window to the universe, now reflected only emptiness. The stars, those pinpricks of divine fire, were gone, extinguished. An obsidian canvas stretched out before them. A cold dread seeped into their immortal hearts. The silence of the cosmos screamed at them. It was a silence devoid of life, devoid of hope. The universe, their universe, was dying. Zeus, as Zeus. What does this mean, brother? Demeter's voice, usually strong and vibrant, was a mere whisper. She, the life-giver, felt the sting of mortality in the air. Poseidon, as Poseidon. Even the sea, vast and eternal, seemed insignificant against the backdrop of infinite darkness. Poseidon, his normally jovial eyes filled with terror, could only shake his head. Zeus, trying to maintain a facade of composure, placed a reassuring hand on Hera's shoulder, but his touch was cold, his eyes reflecting the same fear that gripped them all. A faint hum drew their attention toward the observatory's control panel. A single light flickered, pulsating like a dying heartbeat. As they neared, the faint outline of a message became visible. It was written in the language of the ancients, the language of the Titans. Hera, as Hera. What sorcery is this? Hera whispered, her voice laced with fear. The message spoke of a cycle, of death and rebirth. It spoke of a sacrifice, a necessary extinction. It was then that they noticed the bodies. Slumped over the control panel, their forms withered and decayed, were their predecessors, the previous gods. The sight sent a shiver down their spines. These gods, their predecessors, had known this fate. They had seen this coming, and they had chosen to face it alone. A holographic projection flickered to life. It showed a single dying star, its light sputtering like a candle in the wind. Their sun, the last sun. A voice, ancient and devoid of emotion, echoed through the chamber. S1. With trembling hands, Zeus activated the control panel.
It spoke of a cosmic cycle, of a universe that had lived and would die and be reborn. The voice explained that the previous gods had failed. They had hesitated, they had clung to their existence, and in doing so, they had doomed the universe to a slow, agonizing death.
The message was clear. To restart the cycle, to spark life anew, a sacrifice was needed. Their sun, the last source of light in the universe, had to be extinguished by their hand. A heavy silence descended upon the chamber. The weight of the universe, the fate of all creation, pressed down on their shoulders. Their immortality, once a blessing, now felt like a curse.
Demeter, her eyes filled with tears, looked away from the dying star. How could she, the life-giver, be party to such destruction?
Poseidon, the normally stoic god, clenched his fists, his face a mask of rage and despair.
What choice do we have?
Hera, her gaze fixed on the dying sun, whispered, "What choice do we have?" Her words, devoid of their usual fire, hung in the air, heavy with the weight of their predicament.
Zeus, his face etched with the burden of eons, looked at his companions. He saw the fear, the despair, the resignation in their eyes. He felt it too, but he also saw something else, a glimmer of hope, a spark of determination.
The decision was made. There would be no debate, no argument. They were the gods, and this was their burden to bear. With heavy hearts, they turned towards the control panel. As Zeus reached for the activation switch, a single tear rolled down his cheek. It was a tear not of fear, but of acceptance, of understanding. The universe was dying, and they, the gods, held the key to its rebirth.
The fate of the universe rested on their decision. The weight of countless lives, both past and future, pressed down on them.
Yet in that moment of ultimate despair, they found a strange sense of peace. They were not just gods, they were caretakers. And sometimes, being a caretaker meant making the hardest choice of all. The fate of the universe hung in the balance.